Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Good to see anyone that is here. May you be inscribed in the book of life for a good year.
Same one to you.
And as we go forward and seeing those things here, may bless us. And also take this time to welcome in all our listeners, those that's in Israel, those that's in Canada, those that's in the Philippines, Sierra Leone, India, and where you might be picking us up on the internet. Into our house, where our motto is, come one, come all, let us build our future upon the foundation of peace and love. Shalom Ve'ahava. And upon these two principles, when we get into that groove, and it's something, about mankind as a whole, we just don't want to do those things. You see that even when people were giving up, the United States was giving up and saying, we got it, they still had to go there and have a suicide bomber come in there and kill up some folks. I mean, there's just no peace and love there. See? And this is what's wrong with the world, and Yah is not going to put up with it forever. Therefore, we're going to have a change of heart. We're going to have a different attitude about things. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. See? And therefore, Yah is going to have his way. And so we're just going to have to adjust to it, or we're going to be eliminated. So it's your choice. It's your choice. And they're not saying, they're talking everything, they say, your choice, my choice, and that's true. That's everybody's choice. It's the sure one choice of going to bring your results in it, the other choice is going to bring another one. All righty. So let's get our tally coats. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher hitzenu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'tikvahi v'adhitzi. Bless you, Lord our God, King of the universe, that sanctified by our commandments and commanded us concerning wrapping ourselves in tzitzit. As the rest of the thing, you should be here songbook at the time, or a piece of paper to have page 350 on it, or on your folders. Women are 19 and up, men are 19 and up, youth is 12 to 18, and all is all who can read. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of Yah. Women,
come, my spirit, Yah. Stop the turning inside of me. How I rush against everyone's day and to turn on time. Why is my confusion, Yah? It's on all the tension of getting here. I know I made the effort because I really need to. Yah, speak in me like in
his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name, for the Lord is good. Men, I am thankful, Yah, for what we have. But this week has been so heavy, and it seems that no matter how hard I work and how well I'm playing, there's always something I didn't plan on, and there isn't enough time to go around. Forgive me, Yah, for letting worry get in the way of my gratitude. You are good to us, Yah. We do have so much to praise you for. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord our land. Serve Yah with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. You?
It's hard to learn the word. It's hard to learn that too sometimes. It's not sitting straight to be in school, especially how to keep the joy. This was not very fair. It's like you know mistakes, but I know her so close to me. I can't see it. But I know she is. But I sing with my whole heart.
God is my shepherd, I shall not want. He made me to lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. All. Restore my soul, O Yah, and renew a right spirit within me. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones that you have broken may rejoice. Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me with your free spirit. Hallelujah. 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 Now you now turn and face the Holy City distribution here. I open it to Philip, Kohen Baraka, and the Shema. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Bless you, Lord, our God, King and ruler of the universe. Heavenly Father, we come here today. Thank you for help, strength, dedication, one of this year. Thank you for those whose mind was on your place and worship, and we, with our bodies cooperated along with our mind, and we're here. And we just ask special blessing for those who had it in their minds, but their bodies are not quite up to power. We ask that you would give speedy recovery and healing, that they too might be able to fulfill the desires of their heart. And we just thank you for the blessing that you are blessing those that are going to the doctors and have gone through surgery and also facing things. We ask that you would bless them and carry them and give them the strength to go on and until we get a full recovery, that we might be the people that go forth, showing forth your saving help. And we look unto you for that help and for that healing, whether it is spiritual healing, our physical healing, or whether it is both physical and spiritual healing. We know nothing is impossible with you. Therefore, we look up to you those things that we might be the people that go forth, showing forth your saving help. Thank you for sending your son. Thank you for the fact that he did not faint, he gave up on us, but went all the way. We were to shed of his blood, that we will have an opportunity to enter into the glorious promises and plans that you have for those that love you and keep your commandments. We pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and to the best and apart for her. Keep our leaders strong. Keep our sisters and brothers safe here, as well as us safe here. Bless my mouth. Bless our ears. Those things you say, do what you want me to say. That we might add to our knowledge, and be not amongst your people that perish for lack of knowledge, not knowing what you're doing in these last days. Continue to bless me go further in this service. I always bless my ass in thy son's name, Yahshua HaMashiach, the man whose name is the branch. Amen.
Amen.
It's time you should hear a Bible, probably the complete Jewish Bible, for our Kohen Baraka, which is found on page 153. Which deals Numbers, the 6th chapter. I read the 23rd verse, then you can read both the 24th through the 27th together. Speak to Aaron and his son. This is how you are to bless the people of Israel. You are to say unto them all together, give a record Adonai v'yish Baraka. May Adonai bless you and keep you. Ya'el Adonai elect V'yikuneka. May Adonai and show you his favor. Yisrael Panah elect Ve'asimcha shalom. May Adonai lift up his face toward you and give you peace. In this way, they are to put my name on the people of Israel, so that I will bless them. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Ask you to join with the Shema in Hebrew. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto Leolam Va'ed, Le'amata Le'eka, Le'kalabata, U'kalashika, U'kalelolea. Now, if you turn your Bible and complete to page 204, would you be Deuteronomy the 6th chapter, 4th to the 9th verse of what we'll be reading? What we say in the Greek and Hebrew is verses 4 and 5. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear Israel, Adonai our God, Adonai is one, and you are the Lord Adonai your God, with all your heart, all your being, and all your resources. These words which I'm ordering today are to be on your heart, and you are to teach them carefully to your children. You're talk about them when you sit at home, when you're traveling on the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. Tie them on your hands as a sign. Put them at the top of your headband, around your forehead, and write them on the door frames of your house and on your gates. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We also ask you to go to page 1279 in the complete, which is Mark the 12th chapter, 28 to the 31st verse, and see what the Mashiach had to say concerning the same subject. One of the Torah teachers came up and heard them engage in this discussion. Seeing that Yeshua answered them well, he asked him, which is the most important of them all? Yeshua answered, the most important is Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, and you are the Lord Adonai your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your understanding, and with all your strength. The second is this: you are to love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other mitzvah greater than these. Hallelujah. 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 You should be able to see your song at this particular time. If not, they'll get to it. So I'll sing familiar one for this time of Yeshua. Bring your hearts and not your garbage. When we will gather around the great white throne, some will say signs and wonders we have done. But he will say, did I not speak through the prophets and my son? Repentance is required of man, take them all away. And your hearts and not your garments, they're given unto the Lord
Your sins may be as scarlet, but be as white as snow. In your hearts and cry loud, let your voice be heard. Those who call on his name will be saved. There are those who wonder why God will hear their cry. Don't have to like you like you say. The scripture is so simple if we follow and obey. Atonement through Messiah's blood be the only way. Your hearts and not your thoughts, turning unto the Lord. Your sins may be as scarlet, but be as white as snow. In your hearts and cry aloud, let your voice be heard. Those who call on his name will be saved. Those who call on his name will be saved. Yeah. Yeah. The season here, the end of the days at hand. God pour his spirit out upon the land. The harvest will be plenty for all those who pray. If you want the Spirit's power, then won't he say, when your heart and not your garments, turning unto the Lord, your sins may be as scarlet, but be as white as snow. Lift your hearts and cry aloud, let your voice be heard. Those who call on his name will be saved. Those who call on his name will be saved.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We've got to understand and remember this, that we are God's servants, not the other way around. And it just like we got to keep it in perspective of things. Sometimes we get our perspective wrong. You know, just like children versus parents. They get the perspective wrong, and then it's going to go bad for them. See? And therefore, we don't want that to happen. See? Therefore we got to keep the things in the right perspective of things. Otherwise, you get yourself into some big time trouble. And that's what's wrong with the world today. Okay? We done got into the idea we think that we're the ultimate power.
Yeah.
See? And y'all still have to show us. Even though, it's crazy too, even though we look out into the heavens and everything there, and then we realize how small we really is. But yet still, we still get that big.
Yeah.
We still get that puffed up. And the more we look out there to the more we start seeing ourselves brought down and small. But the enemy had their job on us. when I say us, I'm talking about mankind as a whole. But he's not gonna defeat gospel. See? And that's the good part about it. See? But unfortunately, God had left this thing in a setup in the way that he made me a free moral agent. And that's bad in one sense, good in another. See? Free moral agent means that you have a right to make your choice. See? But that's also said you can make your own choice. If you wasn't a free moral agent, you could make your own choice.
Right.
You see? You have no choice there. Therefore, the enemy knowing those things there, and he's got the age on us, he's got the maturity on us, we ain't got a chance against him on our own. Okay? That's the reason like taking a 3-year-old and putting it up against an 18-year-old. No match. Right? No match. See? Therefore, we have to stay within the power that He's given us. We go to Psalm 68:4, and we get acquainted with true God. Because there's God many and Lord many. And we got this is many of them out there, we got stupid people that's call upon them and believe it. See? And totally devoted to it. Like I was talking about. It's suicide bomber, you know. Hey, they believe in themselves to go out there and blow themselves up. Right? And then we find out what they promised. Yep. Right. Women. What is it, 72 of them? Yeah. 72 versions.
You got to be virgins, huh?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Hey, that's worth blowing yourself up.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be.
No. Virgin or not virgin, I don't care what.
But you got to understand it's much more to that. Because that's how they enter into, they say, to heaven through martyrdom. If they don't enter into good deeds and martyrdom, they can't go into heaven, they say. So that's the ultimate place that God, they say, will bring them to heaven. Is to blow to do themselves in the name of a so-called righteous deed to blow themselves up.
Okay, so
They don't have salvation to look forward to. That's the only salvation they got.
The virgins.
No, their way of salvation, like we got the way of salvation to Yeshua, and we know that through him, but they don't have no way. They believe that in good deeds and martyrdom is the quickest way to get there.
So where the virgin came in at?
That's your reward.
They'll just add it on later.
That's your reward.
So not receiving eternal life, but the virgin.
So if a woman does blow herself, she gonna get virgin too?
Virgin male, I guess.
No, I ain't gonna do that.
I guess she won't blow us up, so she want to.
No. There's a way of salvation. Martyrdom is the way of salvation to them.
What good is what woman gonna do is blow herself up?
That's right. What good?
But they do it.
Yeah.
They do it.
They promise them salvation.
So they're going to 72.
That's just a side note. 72 virgins is that you blow yourself, you go into heaven, and you're gonna get your 72 virgins. The lamb, yeah.
It ain't good enough for me.
It is.
Yeah. Well, there's a story for everything.
There's a story for it.
Right? There's a promise for everything. Yeah, guys can't. Now to make it with one. What we're gonna do with 72?
They feel like, okay, hey, I'm immortal now. So, hey, I can handle the 72.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
It must be appealing because they don't have no problem getting suicide bombers. But here, our God says, sing to God, sing praises to his name, extol him who rides on the clouds by his name, Yah. And this is what I'm doing. I'm extolling his name. And as our balance sheet that we have here, YH, that's his name. Yeah. See, he said extol that. See? And hey, the others, they extol. They do those things, you know, whenever they do that, they're hollering their God and those things, you know. Yeah, that's it. But here, he said, extol him, rise on the clouds by his name, Yah, and be glad in his presence. There's a requirement. And therefore, you don't meet the requirement, then you just don't qualify. Okay? And as I said before, we know how to do those things here. See? And there's something about it that if you diligently, with your heart, open up to those things, you will, see, be glad and enjoy those things. The enemy is the one that don't want to enjoy those things. So you want to take advantage of everything, anything. For my husband ain't right. For my wife, she ain't talk right. For my friend ain't doing that. If I can get this, you know, anything to do those things, you know, hey, don't let it be an excuse. Everyone is going to be judged on their own actions. And you know, so I watched a judge picture that he kind of really makes me think of it. You know, a lot of stuff they won't let you come in court with. You can't use that. They say that's hearsay. That's right. No. And that's what God gonna do. When we start hollering about, well, my husband would have done so much. I don't hear all that. That's admissible in this court. Huh? Well, my husband or my wife, but they say no, ain't got nothing to do with that. Ain't even let us go down that trail. So why should we predicate and build our whole ass upon something that they ain't gonna lie? And the judge says, no, that's hearsay, no, can't have that. But the police said, that's hearsay, you get it. Yeah, she Judge, you don't be playing. Yeah. And that's exactly the way it is. Hey, no. Every man wants to stand on his own. You ever want to give an account of the words and the deeds that they done. You can't come up with no excuses. That's not allowed. So, he says, and be glad in his presence. But that's the reason why I wasn't glad, because of, hey, yeah, you can't use that as an excuse. That's what I'm trying to get over to. You can't use that as an excuse. Even though it do affect us. But we get past that effect. We get past those things that we want to do. If we really want to do it. We might not be feeling too good already. Hey, let's go shopping. Let's go do that. Used to be like when I was younger than I was like, hey, let's go play basketball. Hey, I get, hey, I'm ready to get out there. See? We can do those things. See? On a bad time, hey, you go to midnight drags all the time. Man, hey, look forward to it, man. Stay there all night and don't squabble, you know. So we can do strange things and things that are fun that we enjoy. The reason why I have no problem, because I enjoy going out there to the midnight drag. Get out there, boy, have big old long line, have to wait to get in. See, like, we do it anyway. And didn't pay you money to get in there. Therefore, dear folks, God says, hey, look, I don't want to come to excuses. My requirement is that you be glad in my presence. See? And we got to overcome those things, fulfill what he said. All right. Who is this God we're talking about? The earthquake, that's the 8th verse. The earthquake and rain poured from the sky at the presence of God. Even Sinai shook at the presence of God. The God of Israel. And if your God is not the God of Israel, you are serving and worshiping a false and idol God, and you will perish with your God. And I'm not afraid to say that. See? Even though there are millions of people that don't believe that. It doesn't matter. See? The God of Israel is the only true God. See? And he's getting close to the time of proving that out. See? Don't get caught on the wrong side of things, because it won't be good for you. See? Now, knowing all those things there, and a lot of folks have come to that. A lot of us black folks have come to the point of realizing who you are. I'm Israel. I'm this and all that. But that's just the beginning of it. That ain't the end of it. See? You show you how people do, you know, hey, I got the right color, and they count the color, and they scan, and this and that there, and therefore they all right. No, you ain't all right. Okay? And we got to get that understanding. Here's what makes us all right. Because the prophet had to come and say to them that who was full of blood, you know, they all, especially ones here in America, they all holler about the blood. They ain't got the blood. Hey, your blood ain't full either. If you know, many of them in America, their blood ain't full. Right?
Right.
See? Because the masters took whatever they wanted. And the masters enjoyed themselves and do whatever they wanted to. And he had nothing to do about it. And he decided he wanted your wife. That was it. And why? Because not only to the wife, but even you belong to him. You understand that? You and your wife, your children, all belong to the master. See? So if he wanted your wife, then you do about it. Therefore, but God's not going to let that stay forever, those things here. And neither he's going to let the world go on like it is forever. See? Therefore, let's take the correction and get it right. Isaiah 43. In 12 says, you are my witness, says Adonai, and my servants whom I have chosen. All these folks run around here hollering about they got this, they got that, they got the spirit, they got this, they got all this, and they got all this special and who are the witnesses? And many of them, they say, well, their mouth don't witness and their actions sure don't witness. But God wants our mouth and our actions to witness the same thing and be in unity. See? Not seeing one thing and doing something that's different. So you are my witnesses, Adonai, and my servant whom I have chosen, so that you can know and trust me and understand that I am He. That's the first requirement. And the world, and I'm talking about the religious world, many of the religious world is in trouble. And especially among the Christians. They're in trouble. See? What do you mean by I am He? No God was produced before me, nor will any be after me. And they tell you that they got 3 gods. They tell you that. It's no, we can say Jesus God the Father, He's God the Son, and He's God the Holy Ghost. That's 3 to me. Yeah. I am Adonai. Beside me there is no deliverer. I have declared, said, and proclaimed, not some alien God among you. Therefore you are my witnesses, Adonai. I, not we, I am God. And as I tell folks, if you can't meet the qualification for God needs you for, what He needs you. See? That's just like a job. That's just like you told us on a job. We're doing a good job. He didn't come and say we're doing a good job. He just come along and said, hey, everybody that was working on that project there, y'all laid off. Well, what? What's wrong? Because we just terminated that job. See? They terminated that whole job. So we, it's just like, yeah, you got some people that work on a bus. And they come along and say, we ain't making no more buses. You out of a job. Right? You out of a job. See? And so that's exactly what happened to me on the job. Yeah. They said, we ain't making no more of them. And all y'all that working on that project there, you laid off. You know? Now we knew about it. And therefore, God let you know here. You can't be mad if you can't be witness that I am God. So let's get our act together. Let's get those things together. Why? Isaiah 44, 6 to 8. Thus says Adonai, Israel's king and redeemer, Adonai Zebaoth. And a king is just like I was telling you about, like the master was over there. A king. Everything belongs to the king. Everything. And this is my house, and this is my no. Your house, your land, well, belongs to the king. Even you belong to the king. Now, that's hard to be. Well, that's reality there. We got to face it, understand. See? Thus says Adonai, Israel's king and redeemer, Adonai Zebaoth. I am the first, and I am the last. Besides me, there is no God. Who is like me? Let him speak out. Let him show me clearly what has been happening since I set up the eternal people. Let him foretell future signs and events. Don't be frightened. Don't be afraid. Did I tell you this long ago? I foretold it, and you are my witnesses. Is there any God besides me? Israel, is there any God besides our God?
No. I know not any.
Israel, is there any God besides our God?
No. I know not any.
He said, is there any God besides me? He said, there is no other rock.
I know of none.
And if our God don't know of any, what in the world we doing running around here accepting some doctrine, accepting some stuff, some theories and some stuff here that teach you different from that. All we doing is getting ourselves in trouble. See? Therefore, let us don't do those things here. Let us stay in gear with those things. And don't let nobody lie to you and tell you different from that. Well, that was back there, but now we in this time here, where the Mashiach done come, Jesus done come, and all these things done change. Let's see what John 5:30, what he had to say. This is the man speaking his own self. He said, I can't do a thing on my own. See? That sounds a whole lot different from what he felt. This man speaking his own self. See? I can't do a thing on my own. As I hear, I judge. And my judgment is right because I'm right. Is that what he said? No, he didn't say that. He said, my judgment is right because I don't seek my own desire. But the desire of the one who sent me. That Trinity doctrine goes against what he was saying now. We cannot believe those lies. We cannot believe all those things people come up and saying. See? You go to Acts, the 2nd chapter. The 31st verse. He was speaking in advance about the resurrection of the Messiah. That it was he who was not abandoned in Sheol, and whose flesh, spirit don't have no flesh. See? Whose flesh did not see decay. God raised up this Yeshua, and we are all witnesses of it. Moreover, he has been exalted to the right hand of God, has received from the Father what he promised, namely the Ruach Kodesh, and have poured out this gift, which you are both seeing and hearing. For David did not ascend into heaven, but he says, Adonai said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. So God didn't let his flesh see corruption. See? Therefore, he's still a man. He went back there, and he became back. He went back to be a spirit. No. That's why God saved his flesh. He didn't let it decay. See? So there won't be no misunderstanding about who's there and who's sitting on the right hand. See? It's a man. But he knows his position. See? John 14:28. Kill that old lie. Kill that old Trinitarian doctrine. Kill that old Christian stuff. They say that you fundamental belief of Christianity, and people run, why you so hard on Christianity? Because of that. See? And he taught me that lie for when I was a young man, young boy, until knowledge come along, true knowledge come along, and the truth come along to set me free from that. You heard me tell you, I am leaving, and I will come back to you. If you love me, you would have been glad that I'm going to the Father. That's all. I always wondered how is that so? Here they telling me that Jesus is God the Father. He telling me he's going to the Father. I wondered that when he talked. How is that possible? Yeah, he's gonna go to. Why would he even say anything like going to? And then when I was asked about it, they would tell me that's a great mystery. Yeah, that's a deep mystery.
I don't know.
Right.
Tell me that you know everything else, right?
Yeah, right. You know, God works in mysterious ways. What I got to do with him, see? Then I found out why it's mysterious because it was a lie. See? And lies is always mysterious because you can always walk around and keep changing them. Yeah, exactly right. And you get lost in the shuffle there. That's right. And here he tells us that if you love me, you would have been glad I'm going to the Father, because the Father is greater than I. And they say, you're lying. I've heard them tell me that to my face many times. Brother, you're lying. Brother, you don't understand. I said, don't call me no brother. I don't believe that stuff. We hung up, brother. No, I ain't your brother. Brother was supposed to believe stuff. Brother was supposed to believe the same stuff. Then they got their boys and well, you can't call yourself no Christian then. No, they I said, well, okay, that's fine too. I said, because if you tell me the Christian, when you say Christian and the fundamental belief of Christianity is the Trinity, then you're right, I ain't one. Ooh, I'd be scared to say it. I wasn't no Christian. I said, no, I'd be scared to go against what the man said there. That's what I'd be scared of. But you have no problem being scared to say that. On that top theologian said, not this. Now, the Father, then the Son, then the Holy Ghost, then everything. No. This. Jesus is God the Father, He's God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. All three on the same level. Same line. I said, not so. That's not my fundamental belief, and therefore, I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in that Christianity that you're talking about. Dear folks, let's get those things straight, that we might be in line with the true God and what He's doing in these last days. All right. I have Israel update, Shema Shadan bin Israel.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
See, when it comes to great mysteries, and that is something they can't explain. You know, like you talking about, well, I need to find it. The man kept asking, well, what is it? Yeah. She kept beating around the bush, wouldn't give him an answer. Couldn't give him an answer.
No.
But it was. Okay, may you be inscribed in the book of life for a good year.
Same unto you.
You see, there's fires out west, floods in the northeast, and hurricane in the south, and a pandemic. So, you know, the floods, the hurricanes, and all that is bad enough. But then you add a pandemic to it. These people that their homes tore up, and you got to go to a shelter somewhere, that caused more of the virus to spread because all the people in this one place. And out west in California, there's been I think 700 homes burned in county. These people, most of them have retired and moved there, you know. See, if you look at it, most of these people trust in their money. A lot of them. Because, you know, they get there, they build these big fancy $1 million homes and stuff. But they don't think about, you know, God in their plans, you know. And the flooding, there's been 54 people died in the flooding in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. And just think, 3 inches of rain in 1 hour. That's a lot of rain. In Central Park, they got 3 inches of rain. Central Park in New York, they got 3 inches of rain in 1 hour. And they had about almost 8 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain. You know, in little or no time. And yeah. The hurricanes in Louisiana that hit Sunday as a category 4 had caused massive damage, over 1 million people and businesses without electric. So now they restored probably 300,000 of those 100,000 people. But they say it's going to be weeks and months before they can restore power to all the homes. But then there's a lot of homes that ain't going to be able to get power because they tore up. You know, they can't restore power to a damaged home. So then a lot of people left them not to come back. A lot of folks, you know. But a lot of people ain't got to come back too. We was talking this morning, how would you feel if they tell you got tobacco from Jacobin, leave everything that you own? I don't think it'd be hard for me to do it either.
Would be hard for me either.
We say that right now.
No, but you don't go back up. You might as well call the insurance company and say, hey, I'm going somewhere else.
Send me the money here, right?
Hey, yeah, for real.
Like they say, let that happen to you and see how you would fare. You know, we don't know until it happens to us.
And you got one small house, not bad, you got one. Oh, you don't get a bathroom?
They said that one day last week at Costco's, there was a line of people trying to get gasoline 2 miles long
Costa?
at Costco. Yeah, in Louisiana.
Louisiana.
2 miles long. It probably wasn't many places to get gasoline.
Right.
They didn't have power, and these people probably had some kind of generator, running their business.
My brother said he had to go across the lake, a place called Slidell, and he had to wait in a long line.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I can understand what people gonna get gas, but what they doing?
Mississippi actually.
Oh, really?
Slidell. Yeah, well, see from New Orleans area across the lake, there's like, it's a place called Slidell, Louisiana, Folsom, Mississippi. All those was not affected. The only thing was affected was the city.
Yes,
So,
New Orleans,
and,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess you got a point there. And the people that got vaccinated in Louisiana, the rate of vaccination is 40%.
Well,
It's terrible.
40% of Louisiana is fully vaccinated. That tell you right there what's gonna happen after this.
all right.
And September the 2nd alone, the State Department of Public Health reported 2,099 new cases and 74 new deaths. COVID. So that's what's happening down south.
And children as long as, I think 4-year-olds are dying now.
Yeah, I know.
No, from that,
It's affecting a lot of kids. This Delta virus.
Yeah.
And also in Israel has begun the booster shot. They started with people over 60, and now people that's 40 and over can get the booster shot.
So how many months did they wait after the last vaccine?
I don't know.
They started out with 8 months.
Yeah.
Oh, Israel did?
They started it and they changed it to 10, and now there's so much stuff they don't know what to do.
I had that last week, but I ain't gonna look at that thing now. But that means that over 9 million people is in Israel, and about 1 million haven't took the shot, the 2 vaccines, the 2 shots.
You said 9 million in Israel?
Yeah, approximately about 9 million people.
Man, that's and just 1 million that didn't take it.
That's what he said, approximately 1 million haven't took the shot.
That's quite a few people.
But, out of those 9 million people, did you know 1/3 of the people in Israel is children under 14? So, and that means that if you're under 14, you can't take the vaccination.
Right.
So, see, 12 is not eligible. See, under 12 is not eligible for the vaccine. That means 60% of the total population is fully vaccinated. 60%. Israel reported 11,210 new cases on Friday morning, but serious cases continue to drop. Israel has reported 10,000 new cases for 4 days in a row. For the last 4 days. And Friday evening, which is yesterday evening our time, they didn't reach 10,000. They're almost at 9,000 or something. That was yesterday evening. And active cases now is 90,750. And serious cases is around 700, around 7,000. And in Israel strikes in Syria, They target Hezbollah factory of precision-guided missiles.
Mm.
Israel bombed a missile factory Friday morning.
Hezbollah?
Yeah, in
Huh?
Syria.
Oh, okay.
Syria.
Okay.
In Syria, Hezbollah missile factory in Syria.
In Syria, okay.
Yeah. So Syrian air defense missiles flew over Israeli skies before exploding over the Mediterranean Sea. And IDF did not comment on the alleged strikes in Syria because they said it was a policy for them not to unveil it. I guess at one time. And also in Israel, I think me and you probably travel down this highway. Says 2 killed in gangland style shooting near Netanya.
Oh, yeah.
See, Netanya, from the Yeshu to Netanya, that's where everybody in the Yeshu go shopping.
Mm.
And you catch the bus, I guess about what, 45 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And you catch the bus and you got to travel all through Islamic,
Oh,
Palestinian territory.
right.
That's the only way you can get to the country. It says, Douglas Land on Route 57 come days after cops set up new undercover unit to combat soaring murder rate in Arab community.
Yeah.
These Israeli Arab, Arabs, and then 2 others were reported injured. It says Arab cities and towns have seen a surge in violence in recent years. The organized crime seen as the main driver. And you know what organized crime is?
Yeah.
There's a whole lot go to organized crime.
Mhm.
There's drug trafficking, immigrant smuggling, human trafficking, money
Prostitution.
laundering, firearm trafficking, illegal gambling, extortion, counterfeit, a whole lot of stuff.
And prostitution.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
In that little area.
Yeah, all of that organized crime. I ain't saying they're doing it all, but that's what organized
Okay,
crime is.
okay.
Yeah. So, but you know, the biggest organized crime group is Batala. That's Russian mob.
Mm.
Russian mob, which is Russian mafia.
That's Jewish mafia?
No.
Oh, no, like that.
I mean, I thought they were Jewish, that came there.
Oh, yeah, it probably is some Jewish.
Oh, probably is mafia in all, in
Yeah.
all blacks, whites.
Yeah.
all
Oh,
kinds.
okay.
Yeah, you get Jews as a mafia.
Yeah. See, Hamas says Egypt caused Gaza's tunnels to collapse. What happened is Hamas using these tunnels to transport illegal goods,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and Egypt continued to, collapse these tunnels. It says 3 were killed, Palestinians was killed, said Egypt forces pumped gas into the tunnel, trying to clamp down on border smuggling. 3 Palestinian bodies were discovered on Friday after an underground tunnel collapsed.
Man, I know that's a bad feeling. See,
But
ain't no way I'd be going out no tunnel.
But it seemed like this thing is paraphernalia. It's like toys and DVDs and food. It's not no crime. It's to bring food into until.
They're not just only putting food through there,
Yeah.
illegal weapons and everything else.
Why do you think they have a
That's not
underground
the main thing.
tunnel?
The main thing is, food. They do have food coming through there.
Yeah,
Weapons.
Most
Weapons.
of this stuff is illegal.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
that's what they use those tunnels
Tunnel
for.
bus, yeah.
And, you know, they could, if it's just food, they can carry it
Right.
on top of the ground.
Right.
But the stuff that they're trying to hide.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And also Afghan women demand equal rights. But you know, the Taliban said that they're not gonna be like they was from 96 to 2001. I'm telling you, a small group of,
You said a small group?
they're protesting.
Oh.
A small group of Afghan women protesting at the presidential palace in Kabul on Friday demand equal rights from Taliban as Afghans' new rulers work on forming a government and seeking international recognition. You know, the Taliban have promised an inclusive government and a more moderate form of Islamic rule than when they last ruled the country from 96 to 2001. And many Afghans, especially women, are deeply skeptical and for a rollback of rights gained over the last 2 decades. You know, the Taliban, they have said women will be able to continue their education and work outside the home, rights to deny women when the militants were last in power. But the Taliban has also vowed to impose Sharia or Islamic law without providing the state. So
They crazy even accept them. Yeah. I'm saying, they probably ain't got no choice, but.
you know, the Taliban, they captured all these cities, you know.
Mhm. Right.
But what do they got with a bunch of rubble? They depended on the international help to build the country back.
Oh.
So they might have a change in mind for a while, you know, till they get what they want.
Right. That's
Well,
what
well,
they're working on.
I think you need to look at it a little bit different than that. You said power rubble. Did you not know that they found trillions of
I'm not talking about
uranium
that.
and all
I'm
that
talking
stuff
about
there?
everything that's tore up over there.
And they got Chinese over there and the other bit. They're trying to get to that. I think what's gonna happen is Chinese gonna help them to get what they
They
need.
probably will.
Yeah, cause that.
And they said that, you know, they say that we still got Americans over there.
Yeah.
I read where 13 families of kids not in school, they over there. You see, these people had enough time to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids is not in school here in America. What they is, they Afghan American, whatever you call it. They citizens in the United States. But what they did, they went back over there for summer break.
Mm-hmm.
And now they can't get back. But they had time to get back. But they, choose not to. And Mark Wayne Muller, the congressman, he flew to Afghanistan
Right.
with a bag of money.
Oh,
I don't know whether he got in or not. You hear what he did?
No, he didn't.
So with a bag of money, what he's gonna do? Give it to him?
They didn't say. They said he flew there with a bag of money.
Yeah, he was gonna go there and bribe some of the people and everything. And then he wanted to come back here. He's from Charleston.
Okay,
He got
yeah.
a big program.
Right.
Yeah, and he's Republican.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so that's actually they're gonna do is show up Biden.
Right. Yeah. So you go buy him.
Yeah,
You
right.
fly back. Say, see what I've done?
Yes, yes. No American there. But Biden told us. He said, we told him back in March. All y'all want to get out of there, you need to be getting out of there.
Yeah.
But it's just like what my brother said, Matthew, but y'all said, a lot of the Americans over there got their hands does in that big money over there.
Yeah.
They don't want to leave.
They got a lot of minerals and stuff over there.
A lot of minerals.
Mm-hmm.
Trillions of dollars over there. The Chinese are just salivating because they're gonna get it.
You know, the Taliban said that they want good relations with all the countries,
Yeah, oh yeah,
Right.
definitely.
even the United States.
See,
But if you look at it, they had been different to let them fly all the people out.
Yeah.
yeah.
They didn't harm nobody. It was the ISIS-K that did the one to kill those 13 soldiers.
Hmm.
And that's why I think the Taliban is gonna have a problem. ISIS ain't gonna give up.
No,
They gonna wind up fighting.
Yeah,
Fighting
amongst themselves.
amongst themselves.
yeah. Yeah, so, that's the update for the day, that's what I had. Right, Shalom.
Right, so.
I wanted to say this one thing when he's talking about the COVID there. I was reading in there where the top Chabad rabbi said, don't enter the synagogue unvaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a big saying.
That's safe.
Huh?
That's safe.
I know, but that's against where it has been the cities and they so they're gonna have some squabbling because they complain. The Chabad house, which is big amongst the Jews there, the top man said, hey, if you ain't vaccinated, you ain't coming in.
Mm.
Until the synagogue, And so, for a long time, that was one of the groups, the Hasidic Jews and all of it was one of the mainline groups that was spreading COVID all around in Israel and around in these places and everything, because they didn't believe in getting vaccinated and wearing masks and stuff. Right.
So whether you got a mask on or not, and that's not, you got to be able to show a card.
Yeah, you're right.
You've been vaccinated.
And then if you're vaccinated, you still got to have a mask.
Correct.
Okay.
It don't protect the unvaccinated.
See?
That's right.
So, he said, man, this is not a life and death. And if people praise them to understand that, hey, we just got to make rules. And of course, they already got a whole lot of people mad at them and everything, but they said that's all right.
Well, let them be mad, but at least they be mad. They be alive.
That's it. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So, dear folks, you get those things that people gonna have to make a decision about that. Just like a lot of places down in the south that had all that stuff happen to them and everything. They realized one thing. I mean, you can't get this regular stuff done to you now in the hospital because it's all filled up with COVID folks.
All your operations.
Right. Operations and regular things that you normally can't get that now. Because it's all filled up with different stuff. So everybody else is paying for that. So one of the things I found out here in Tulsa is a lot of folks were mad about at the meetup and stuff and all, but they in the hospitals were being filled up with these folks in these other little towns around, Jinx and Wild Shores and Sand Springs and all that. They didn't believe in wearing no masks and stuff and all that there. So they said, look, we ain't taking in no more people from all these little towns and stuff that say that they don't want to have no. We ain't taking nobody. We ain't taking nobody in the hospital, because they taking up all the space and everything there, and the real people there in Tulsa that do believe in that stuff and all that there, ain't got no room for it. Them little towns quickly change that. They changing rules.
Right.
Like you say, ain't no room for the people that get in. some people they shipping all the way out of state.
Yeah, sure is.
You know, you got no room for them here.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they mentioned that one lady was here in Tulsa. They was trying to do what call it. They had no room for them. They had to ship out of Kansas, up in Kansas.
Mhm.
You know, so let's get those things down. And just like I said, hey, I got rules and regulations. If people don't like it, hey, that's it. You know, got rules and regulations at your house. They don't like it, hey, like I say, they can call me on the landline or something. You know, yes. Is that right?
Yes, here in Tulsa. That morgue was so full of people dying that they had to bring trailers in. Just not stacking. This is here in Tulsa.
Right.
That is how close it is to us. A lot of these people in the virus.
You know, your cousin, he's crazy. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He said that last visit he was 1330.
Wow.
Played 1330.
Oh, he was saying that one guy said he went to 13 funerals because he played. Yeah, he played the music at the funerals and stuff, and then he went to 13.
Dang.
Just last week. Man, this stuff ain't playing around. That's what I'm saying.
He said most of them are young people.
Yeah, and most of them are young folks.
I think people should also take into account this, also the elderly and the regular debts, not including these other debts. So it's compounded. Because you got your regular debt. You know, people die so much. Every 5 seconds somebody's dying. So you got the regular people that die and on the regular, and then you got the regular on these COVID stuff dying too. So it multiplies.
And so, you know,
It's crazy.
just understand the situation that's going on and all the stuff there and everything. And don't believe everything you hear. Like I said, you can't mind say you black, you got melanin and everything, you got to worry about everything. Hey, but then the records and all that stuff was saying, hey, mellow people and all that stuff. I said, wait a minute, the black man, he dead. The black man is dead. You have to stop believing. So you can't believe everything you hear on that.
That's right.
Nevertheless, dear folks, we're going to move forward. All right, we're going to have our tea time. Tea time. Get your Bibles there, and we're going to go to the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel 33. I will read the first, and you can read the second, and then the response, and then we'll get to the 9th verse, and we'll read it all together. All righty? Everybody got to stand. Y'all got our Bibles? You can tell the age gap. You know, and that's all right. I have no problem with that. You know, hey.
I'm with you.
There are those who get the Bibles, and there are those who get the Bibles in the hand. You know? Hey, I have no problem with that. Hey, I found out I learned how to use mine a little bit.
So it's all right. I don't see no fogey though. I still got the word that you eat it and we have no problem with it. All right. Ready to go?
Not quite.
Okay, not quite. Okay.
You get.
That's page
686.
686 in the
You got Ezekiel.
yeah, that's in the new, that's in the, Jewish. All right.
Hold on, Pastor.
Okay. All ready now?
Yes.
The word of Adonai came to me.
Speak to your people. Say to them,
Suppose I bring the sword on a country, and the people of that country
Take one of their men and appoint him their watchman.
Now, if upon seeing the sword coming against that country, he blows the shofar and warns the people.
Then, if the sword comes and takes away someone who heard the sound of the shofar, but paid no attention to it, the responsibility for that person's death will be his own.
He heard the shofar, but paid no attention. So the responsibility for his death is his own. Whereas, if he had paid attention, he would have saved his life.
But if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not blow the shofar, so that the people are not warned, and then the sword comes and takes any one of them, that one is indeed taken away in his guilt. But I will hold the watchman responsible for his death.
Likewise, you human beings, I have appointed you as watchmen for the house of Israel. Therefore, when you hear the word from my mouth, warn them for me.
When I tell the wicked person, you will certainly die, and you fail to speak
and warn the wicked person
to leave his way,
then
then that wicked person will die guilty,
and I will hold you responsible for his death.
Altogether,
On the other hand,
if
you warn the wicked to turn from his way,
and he doesn't turn from his way, then he will
still die guilty, but you will save your own life.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. My name is bow your heads. Tonight, Baraka. Blessed be the Lord our God, King of the universe, who gives us your Torah, the right and the prophet, and the red and the shine by thy great spirit, and have commanded us the diligent teaching unto our children, unto our people, and all people of the earth. And that all is will say, Amen. Okay, now you may be seated. This week's Babashah Torah reading is taken from the book of Deuteronomy, the 29th chapter, starting at the 9th verse through the 30th chapter and the 20th verse. That is Deuteronomy 29:9 through the 30th chapter and the 20th verse. Our Haftorah reading is taken from the book of Yeshayahu, the 61st chapter, starting at the 10th verse through the 63rd chapter and the 9th verse. That is Isaiah 61:10 through Isaiah 63:9 in the 9th verse. The 6th parashah is parashah 51, Netzavim, and it means standing. Our scripture reading will be taken from the Haftarah read, which will be given by Shemash. Let us give him our undivided attention as he read the word of God to us.
Can you be described as the book of life for the year?
Same unto you.
Scripture reading is taken from the book of Isaiah, the 62nd chapter, 1 to the 5th verse. It has in 62, 1 to 5, and it's page 534 and 535. For Zion's sake, I will not be silent. For Jerusalem's sake, I will not rest until the vindication shines out brightly, and her salvation like a blazing torch. The nations will see your vindication, and all kings in glory. Then you will be called by a new name, which Adonai himself will pronounce. You will be a glorious crown in the hand of Adonai, a royal diadem held by your God. You will no longer be spoken of Azeva abandoned of your land, be spoken of as Shamana desolate. Rather, you will be called Hephzibah, my delight in her, and your land, Beulah, married. For Adonai delights in you, and your land will be married. As a young man marries a young woman, your sons will marry you. As a bridegroom rejoices over the bride, your God will rejoice over you. May God have special blessings to read and hear of the word.
All right. All right, now, yeah, that's it. In the scriptures here, in the Bible here, we see that God is specially and continually working on mankind. And it's funny, you know, that how that we got to understand some things in our dealing. And these are some of the things that's hard for us to get over to us, you know, in the part of it is, but it's just like anything else, that we are different creatures than other creatures are. God made us different than how he made other creatures. And I give you an example all the other time. See? The animals, a horse or a cow or anything, that it don't take them no years to walk. It don't take them no years to walk. Yeah. But a human being, we're not made that way. And I don't care what you do and everything there, there's a basic making that God has made of us, and that's just the way it is. And we got to understand that. But unfortunately, people got whole different concept, and they come up with all kind of other stuff here. And you gotta be very careful. If you don't, it's gonna get you completely all screwed up and out of line with what God is doing. God has always dealt with us, see, in the best way. He made us, he knows. I didn't make no mistakes about the stuff. Okay? It's because we have an enemy out there that's working against us that even make it more complicated. See?
So,
Yes.
so why did he make man to be more slower than the animal to to move along? Why he made man to be slower than the animals? Since man made in his image. You know, he said take man, a baby, like at 6 months to a year to start walking, but it takes, a cow, you start walking the next day.
Yeah, but that's only one. Yeah, I see.
We're more complicated creatures. We're far more complicated creatures. We're far more intellectual. We have more, more growing and more processing and all of that to do. They don't. You know what I'm saying? We are far more complicated creatures than a horse is. A horse doesn't have an intellectual, so to speak, or at least not as high as one as we do. We're more complicated, to put it in a nutshell.
And also, you got to consider that, like a zebra and all those things, consider prey to those animals. So they have to get ready to go as soon as they can. But a lion takes a long time, just like we do, to learn how to walk. Their eyes open, just like puppies. They crawl around. It takes them a while to learn how to crawl, and then the eyes open, and then they walk, and then they run behind these other animals. But these other animals got to be quick. So God has created to give them an advantage. Oh, so they're going to be eating, prey for the others.
Okay, well, we still way behind all of them.
We're way behind them, yeah.
See, and the reason why, I don't know exactly what the reason why, but I know this here, we far excel them in the end results.
Correct.
And there's been many reasons why that rabbis of old, these questions ain't some new questions to ask. This has been answered, many have been answered, and they've come up with different ideas and everything. One of the things that they said was that God gives that way that we don't boast against and get above ourselves and think that we're so much and all that. He said because the animals can say, yeah, but y'all do this and all that, but look at, so look at you, so don't get too high and mighty. See, we're all creatures of how God made us. See? And God is the final one. He had to do it. He said, let us make man. So he intended for us to be a certain way. And all that comes in the perspective of it. Therefore, knowing those things there, we get ourselves in line with understanding that we are fulfilling what he has asked us to do when we do those things here. See? And ain't too much you can do about it. As a matter of fact, I haven't heard of any kids that come along and dropping right out of what you call them and running and doing those stuff. Now there are some that don't take it quite as long now, but it still take a while. Yeah, it still take a while. So you can still get around what God has did. Therefore, which leads us back to the understanding of what God was portraying and dealing with mankind with. God has always dealt with mankind a certain way, and he's still dealing with us in a certain way. God has never changed that. Because he's interested in, I was talking, I heard this one guy, he's teaching over there at the place there, he's talking about, this body don't mean nothing. This body ain't important. Dear folks, don't listen to that. Understand what that is. But this body is important to God.
Yes, it is. Very important.
See? He said, except those days he cut short, no flesh.
You see.
So God is interested in saving flesh because he said he's going to cut it short. And he told you why he was going to cut it short. So we can't, we got to take all these things in perspective. Now, the desires of the flesh and the flesh is two different things altogether. And a lot of folks get that mixed all up. Okay? Therefore, our bodies like sweet. But if somebody tell you that sweet got some poison in it, you overrule that desire for that sweetness.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so.
For your body's sake.
Yeah, for your there you go. So you gotta make a right decision as to what you're gonna make a choice with. And that's what I was talking about, see? Yeah, boy, I like that. Don't nobody like to take someone to get in the shower. Oh, you see, that's what they do, and they found that out. So they get you to take a lot of stuff, but they're sweetening all up, and they know you take it then. See, and then even though we found out now that a lot of sugar ain't good for you.
Right.
See, it ain't good for your body,
That's right.
Now, so now they coming out with a lot of sugar-free this, sugar-free that, sugar because they don't finally on down there just found out, hey, everything sweet ain't good. See?
Too much of anything ain't good. That's the overall point.
Yeah, they remove the sugar and then put something else in there that's bad for you.
Hey, because we don't like it. We won't do it. We won't mess with it.
Right.
When they first come with that diet Coke stuff, the diet stuff, a lot of folks didn't want to go there because they like that taste of it.
And then they found out that what he was putting in there was causing you cancer.
Yeah.
Saccharin they were putting in causing cancer. Like,
Well,
can't wait for losing.
that just goes to show that mankind.
We're in the process of learning. We're all
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Always.
Right on my expense, right?
Like gluten free.
Yeah.
Yeah. But nevertheless, God have in advance told us some things quiet. And it's because he knows the body. He wasn't made the body. And he knows best what's good for the body, what's not good for it. See?
That's why he gave us the dietary law. Tell us what to eat, what not to eat.
Yeah. And then you got folks that don't like that. See? But nevertheless, here we go to Deuteronomy 29. Start reading the 9th verse there.
Okay.
Moshe is making a plea with Israel on the last day of his life before God is going to tell him, as he make this, do this thing. He continued to plead with Israel even up to the last day of his life. Well, now, he really loved Israel. See?
But did he know he was going to die that day?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I sure would have postponed that.
Yeah. God had already told him.
Mm-hmm.
God told him, hey, you got a job to do here. And when you finish that job there, you're going to die.
You say Deuteronomy 29?
Yeah, this is Deuteronomy 29. I started in the 9th verse there.
Okay.
All right.
Says, therefore, observe the words of this covenant and obey them, so that you can make everything you do prosper.
All right, now, if you want prosperity, now he's talking to Israel now. He's talking to his people because they're getting ready to make a transition. They're getting ready to make a move from one realm to another. And he let them know, it ain't over. It's just like folks today. They say, well, I made a realm. I done been in the Messiah, and I done did this and that. And You just not get ready to make the transition to a move, to a different situation. See? You still need the Father. They think they got it all. And, hey, I get everything. He done gave me everything. No, you haven't. You ain't even became mature enough to even understand everything. Right. And that's why I brought up about us being creatures of slow dealing. These folks here just now, as they say, I'm a fetus. They got it right. You're a fetus. You ain't no fully developed child yet. A fetus don't even breathe off of air. You know that, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Fetus don't eat off his own food. He eats out for the mother. That's why a mother, when you pregnant, she got to be careful what she eats and everything. Because if she don't, she feeds it to the child, to the fetus. It's a different transition once the baby is brought out, slapped on behind, start breathing. Then it's got a whole other transition then to go. It still ain't ready yet. See? So here, Moshe was pleased with them, letting them know. You still, you ain't where you're supposed to be at. See? But don't get and think that you got this thing done because you're going into the promised land. Oh, I got it made now. It's just like I tell husband and wife, and I'm learning that too. Just because you got I got the paper, boy, I'll be married. And that's it, boy. That's it. No. I think my brother over here, he's the oldest state of the house here.
Jim?
Yeah. He's the oldest state of the house here, you know. But it's still a battle, ain't it? Still a battle.
44 years, so
still a battle.
I thought it'd been cooled down by now, Jim.
We still got the enemy.
There you go.
And you got to understand that. You got to realize that this, you know, once you get the paper and everything ain't instant. It ain't instant. Oh, he gonna do everything I want, and she gonna do everything I want, and he gonna do it. It doesn't work like that. He said those two becoming one. And any time what time that is between that becoming.
I was told that after you get over 5 years in marriage and it start getting smoother, mine was, well, so long as I've been married, was 12 years, and we got smoother and smoother, and then all of a sudden in 12 years went down like a rock. I don't know what happened to that part, but all that time it's been pretty smooth.
Well, you probably stopped working at it.
Well, I was past, yeah. Listen, I'm past that. Yeah, I'm past that, and no, that ain't true. You know why? You know why things are that way? It's because things are steady changing.
Yeah.
Situations are changing. I'm honest with all those things there. Hey, my job was changing, and my job was changing, made me change. And then so I had to change in order to consider with. Man, it really changed, boy. You know, maybe boss and stuff there, boy. And then see, cause I got changed. I got started getting a whole lot of stuff that I wasn't dealing with everything. Then I come home and guess who the first one you gonna see?
Your spouse.
And you full of that stuff.
And you take it out on her.
Yeah. I wasn't intentionally doing it. You know, that was just a, you know,
Change.
right. It was just a situation. So you have to. Sometimes you work it out, and sometimes you can't work it out. So but it's a constant situation now. It's a constant thing that's going on because your situation and all those things changes. See?
Yeah, we've been married 32, and I learned you gotta give and take. You can't take, you gotta give.
If you do all the giving, that don't work either. The other person, I ain't got nothing.
Yeah, give and take.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
It's a balance.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
But if love is there, it's working.
Yeah.
Say, and I'm gonna make you do it. And like I always tell folks, you can't stay up here like this here with, north by gears. It's gotta, you know what I mean? That's what make your car go. Car will not go for years of sitting up there banging up your love like that there. It has to go, you know what I mean? And then they'll move the car. It won't move as long as it's sitting up there. You'll grind them teeth all the way down and sure ain't going over there.
I cut out now, she might take me out of here.
Tell her grinding the gears are real bad on that one. He's locked in for life, isn't
All right, Rico.
Help me out, Keena.
Jim, better keep mouth shut.
Take verse, today you are standing.
Today you are standing. And they were literally standing. See, we got it made here now. We sit there, they had to let you understand.
Wow.
See? But of course, everyone was tougher than we were.
No patty pews for them, huh?
The old folks were more, they said we really got to be soft and easy, But, and that's true to a certain extent, we can't take things like what they do now, and I'll admit it. Man, our air conditioner went out at the house there. Man, there's a whole different world. But hey, we didn't have an air conditioner when I came up.
No, we didn't even. We didn't even have a windy thing.
So how do we make it? How do we exist then?
My sister hit me upside the head with a bowl of beans because I took that seat in the window.
Yeah, that's what I'm
bowl of beans.
Yeah.
See? But man, I'm gonna try to be tough and everything else. But that's why. That's what I mean by the point of view. You gotta learn how to move and Hey, he said, I took all I can take. You want to do something. And when they get to that point, you gotta do something, ain't that right?
I was that. Dad, I had all of the breaking. Then all of a sudden, I got the break. I'm going to do something now.
Yeah, I said, I'm hanging in there. And I knew she was different when she got out there. She was throw more fan away, that had that. She was thrown out in the garage out there and everything. And she said, you got to go back and get that damn. I know then that was
messed up.
That was it then. I had to look at that bad boy, we juggle around that thing because they had a little nippness in it, where it wouldn't run for a while and quit and everything else. But hey, juggle that bad boy around and get that bad boy going, and she said, leave it alone, don't touch it, don't. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta get some air in here.
See, like they go out the hardest day it is.
Yeah. Therefore, nevertheless, we can get past those things if we work at it. And that's what we by condition. You got Like state, hey, you gotta call somebody, you gotta call. I said, I can call them already. We done call already, you gotta call someone else on, then you gonna have to do.
I said, I'm gonna have to let my brother over there, he tried catching it over there. I said, I'm about to hurry up and try to get somebody over there.
Yeah. But, you know, but like I said, that's what I thought about it. I said, then I asked her, I said, hey, what happened did you have down there in your place? You didn't have none either.
Water cooler.
Oh, yeah, y'all big time. Y'all even have a water cooler. Woo! Oh, well, maybe that's why she got no.
Real big time, man.
Yeah, maybe that's why she got a little salt in there. We didn't have no water cooler. We didn't have no water cooler. I think finally that we got us a window fan that, you know, when you get one and you put it in. But that was for grown folks and stuff like that. Kids out here, and you ain't no other kid, you don't need that.
We stayed outdoors until it got dark.
Yep. Yeah. But nevertheless, you know, that's the way things go, you know. So this is why and that's the same way it is with the world, you know, folks, and how it is now. The world has changed, but it's still the same old fight all over. That's why I say he that endures until the end shall be saved. Mm-hmm. See? We're in a constant battle. The enemy is constantly coming with all kinds of different things, causing to have all kinds of different experiences.
Right.
But the good advice is don't turn away from God.
Right.
See? Read on.
Since today you are standing, all of you, before Adonai your God, your head, your tribe, your leaders, and your officers, all the men of Israel, along with your little ones, your wives, and your foreigners, here with you in your camp.
Now notice this. Do you notice that? God was dealing with Israel, and God wanted them all there. We done got to the place now, and we're in a battle right there. To even do that.
Right.
You come down, where's the wife at? You come down, where's the husband at?
Oh, yeah, home.
You come down, where the kids at?
Oh, I don't know what it is.
See? But that ain't what God, this is how God wanted. This is what God wanted. He wanted everybody to be involved in that.
That's
because
right.
everybody is going to be tempted and going to have a problem with this thing. Like I said before, my children didn't have a choice. Might not be the best thing for them, or they might say, well, but hey, because I was going along for that, I think it's stupid. Hey, and I want to give them the best chance that they could get. So they didn't have a chance. See? They had to do that. And I don't believe in making my kids do that. Well, hey, well, that's your problem. That ain't mine. Well, how successful it was. Did you not read what we talked about today? It said that if you see the shofar blowing and warn the folks, how successful, he didn't even let you know that you might not be successful in doing all that. But there's a penalty that God will add to you if you don't do what you're supposed to do. And I said, I got enough stuff coming on the road that I have in that. So I said, hey, they just want to be mad and everything. But they don't have to do that. My rule is my rule. See? And it's always going to be in favor of what God has said. See? And so if they don't like it, they don't like the rules and everything, they're already there. Oh. Get out and get your own place. Get your own establishment. Get out. But if you want to come to my house and all that, you got to go by my rules and regulations. And I'm not ashamed of it, but I'm not afraid about it. And I ain't changing it. Because there are certain things that God mandates. See? And says. Okay? And I want to be in line with him. Okay? Sometimes, my brother, I was gonna say, I got relatives that old girl, you wanna come to my house and then sure don't wanna stay, you know, that, cause they know more rules.
Right.
Yeah, I tell you about that.
We're gonna have to keep Shabbat if we go there.
Yeah. And you want to do it then, I mean, you're right there. You got to do it then.
Can't eat no pork.
Right. So they I wanna go out, okay. Y'all stay somewhere else and they think they ain't hurt my feelings, no. See? Because now I don't have to put up with their attitudes and stuff, you know, because I know they ain't gonna like it. So hey, we all gonna be in agreement. Hey. But I want to know where it is and where it rests at, so we can be sure. See? Read on to the 14th verse.
Okay. From the one who chops your wood to the one who draws your water. The purpose is that you should enter into the covenant of Adonai, your God, and into his oath, which Adonai, your God, is making with you today.
Did you see that? Did you understand that? God was saying that there are certain requirements that you got to require if you're going to keep my covenant. You ain't keeping my covenant if you don't do those things.
That's right.
He said, even to your wood cutter. That means a service. You got somebody to run. You got to put brakes on them.
Right.
I mean, the person that worked for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them within your gates.
That's right.
And I'm going to say about the Shabbat. See? Says them within your gates and everything. You get it. That's them. They can go ahead and break this out. But not again. God will hold you responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I tell them, hey, you want to come in? You stay in my house? You're going to keep the Shabbat. And if I don't trust you to stay there and keep it every day there, you have to go with me. Because some things you can't trust them, right?
Right.
That's true.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some people know better than everything. Then you got to deal with them a different way. Then once you come there and see that they ain't done that.
Right.
Right?
Right. Right.
And it ain't always easy either, is it?
Right. Time to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you're so right about that. I think at one time I left my daughter home with my ex-wife and said, well, she's going to stay home with her. You're going to take care of her. And man, I came home after we had church and Shabbat. I come home. I was going to tell her when you're blasting and everything going on. I said, what's on? I thought she was going to probably carry on the tradition, keep the Shabbat. And she let her do whatever she wanted to do in the house. I said, hold on here. If you don't, no. I got first I got on the daughter, then I got on the wife. And then next Shabbat, guess what? She was sitting in here with me, wasn't she? Yeah. Or she had got her own place.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We got to do that, dear folks. He said, if you're going to keep your covenant with me and to do those things, that's how you got to have.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not that, but that's them, and they got to okay, that's them, they on their own, but not if they on the.
Not on the other roof, my roof.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And we've got to take that on, you know.
Serious stuff.
It ain't time to love my children. You just want to rule all of that. No, I'm just trying to get us all, keep us all in line with what I feel is what God is asking, and that's what He's saying. See? And I think He knows better how to do it than any of us. See? And I not only think, but I know that He knows better. See? Read on.
Okay, 13th verse says, so that he can establish you today for himself as a people.
Notice that. Why is God doing that? Why is God requiring that? So He can establish us.
Mm-hmm.
See? A worthy people. Worthy of those things there. I would think that we want that for our children. No one feels good when their children go out there and out there the scourge of the town. Going out there getting stuff for all kinds of, you don't feel that don't make no parent feel good about that except one that I guess is out there doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
See, I had to change that there because Brother Taylor DeVito was telling us that this one guy was fussing his son out because the police caught him stealing a bike, and boy, he was ready. He was fussing that kid out, you know, and then after the police and everything left and everything, then he wants to grab him down. You done made me look bad. You done made me look bad. Yeah. He said, what? You know, he said, he thought, boy, he don't really get it now, but he didn't. You know, I thought you got him stealing that. He was mad every day because he got caught stealing. Not because he was stealing. He was mad because he got caught stealing. He said, you know, I told you better than that for you. So that ain't what I'm talking about, man. I'm talking about getting mad, you know, because you make me look bad because you're going against that what I done taught you, which is right.
Right.
None of us feel good when our children go out and do stuff that they. And you should understand that. And you will when you come over and get you some children. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Therefore, I'm not saying that you want to enjoy that. Yeah? I'm not saying my children enjoy it either, you know, and like the those things, yeah. But I like to say, you know, someone come up to me and appreciate it, you know, all those things there, and all, because of the fact that they see where I'm at now. See? And some of them kind of tried it with their own offspring and found out that things ain't working out too good like that. See? But nevertheless, Moshe was pleading with Israel. Pleading with them to do those things there. Keep my covenant. Stay in line with me. Because God said, I have a plan for you that do this. See?
No. Okay, and so that for you, he will be God. And as he said to you, and as he swore to your ancestors, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But I am not making this covenant and this oath only with you. That's what he said.
Okay. All right. Now notice this. I want you to see how God is and how he includes stuff. And this is what a lot of folks got to mix all up. They holler like, you going way back yonder. You doing this, and we are on this side of it now. We got Jesus and stuff, and something all gonna change and all that stuff and all that. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. God still has a desire. God is still working on a plan. God is still dealing with us in a promise that he made long ago. And that's what we got to understand. And when you start talking about you done changed all this and all, no, it ain't changed. He told Israel, he said, you ain't going over here totally off of all your righteousness. He said, you going into the land of them because, you know, you're a part of fulfilling a promise that I made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, your forefathers. You're part of that fulfillment. And I keep telling folks, we're still a part of that fulfillment. Even today, in these last days, do you know that God has still have not fulfilled his promise that he promised to Abraham? What was the extent of the land mass that he said he was going to give to Israel?
from Euphrates.
Euphrates.
That's right.
Matter of fact, it's most all the
We
Turkey.
we have never occupied that.
All of Syria, we're gonna take all of Syria, half of Arabia, all the way up. It's gonna be a big land.
That's why you're having problems right now with those places.
Yeah.
Because God is dealing with that right
Yes.
now. God is dealing with that right now.
Even some of Turkey is gonna be covered.
See?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we got to understand those things, and we got to understand how those things are, and stop letting folks tell us. That's why a lot of folks is mixed all up and everything there. I ain't worried about what's going on the earth, because I'm going to heaven. And see, they all screwed up. How is God going to fulfill his word that take you to heaven?
They ain't fulfilling his word.
They ain't fulfilling his word. They don't know nothing about it.
They think he fulfilled his word by taking them to heaven.
Yeah, right. See, them got a whole different attitude. Everything's my place. I don't want to say I want to go to heaven. Completely messed all up. I was talking to a guy that day, and he was telling Sister Evelyn, who was at the hospital, and he came in, he was talking to her and that. And he was all enthused and all of that. His whole enthused thing was going to heaven. Getting away from this earth, all this trouble and all that turmoil, and we wrapped it out there. And I wanted so bad that you telling me, hey, brother, you got the wrong attitude. You got the wrong idea about cutting cups. I didn't know you were jumping. Hey, somebody be so far out of everything and show all that, you don't even know how to get in.
I know you want to slap somebody right there. Boom! Wake up!
Yeah, right.
Yeah, go to heaven.
And so, nevertheless, now go to Hebrews. The 10th chapter of Hebrews. And we're going to start reading at the 16th verse there.
This is the covenant which I will make with them after those days, says Adonai.
Now notice this. This is after the Mashiach done came. Done died on the cross and everything. And here, see, Paul was talking, James was talking, the apostle was talking about a covenant. I want you to get this covenant. Because a lot of folks get this thing all mixed all up. Remember when it was back there in Deuteronomy, back in Moshe's time, Moshe said, keep this covenant. See? Christians and all be bragging about, we got a new covenant. We got something different. What did he say there?
This is the covenant which I will make with them after those days, says Adonai. I will put my Torah on their hearts and write them on their minds.
Now notice this. At the time when he was telling them those things here, God had written the 10 Commandments on the table of stone. Moshe had written his mitzvah oaths and those things here in a book, in a roll and everything there. And he was teaching it to them in their hearts. And he was telling them then, don't forget the Torah. Don't forget the covenant. Don't forget these things. Way later on, hundreds of years later, the Mashiach and came and died and everything, still tell them, this is the new covenant. See? But what is this new covenant? See? Is it something different? No. What did he say? He said, what did he say about it?
Says, I will put my Torah on their heart and write them on their mind.
So Torah was never God's idea of getting rid of. Yeah.
I used to think about the New and Old Covenant too, but when I read it, I did a study on it and it said actually it means the renewed covenant.
There you go.
It's not new.
That's the proper.
Not done away with it. It just renewed.
That's right. It's renewed. But it's the same laws, it's the same covenant, it's the same requirement that God has, and He's gonna put it in their hearts.
Correct.
It wasn't nothing wrong with the laws, there was something wrong with the people.
There you
Right.
go.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The people.
Yeah.
That's it. So read on.
He then added, and their sins and their wickedness I will remember no more.
Now, people forget that part there. And they jump on the part like, well, we got Jesus. Jesus died for our sins and all that. But they forget that part ahead of time where it says that new covenant, that getting your laws and stuff in your heart. He said, and then, I think that's what it said there.
He then adds,
Then adds.
yeah,
Add what?
and their sins and their wickedness I will remember no more.
Add that to the new covenant that He made. With them that have accepted His laws, His Torah, His mitzvahs, His things in their hearts and in their inner part. Then I'm going to add this to you. See? People got different, they just say, but I just jump past all that there stuff and just get there where it says, our sins going to be done with it, and then you'll keep all that other stuff. That don't work that way.
No, it don't.
And that's the same, that's the very same thing that Moshe was pleading with Israel about. Yeah, you going into the land all right. You going in there all right and everything there. You done jumped all that. But understand, if you skip over this part here, you ain't going to be able to stay in it. Now, let's go back and see. Let's go back and see. And people don't get what they think, nah, I just accept Jesus and I just do that, and that's it. I got it made. That's all I need to do. I said, no.
If you don't know what to do, how are you going to stand?
There you go. That's why it says, pray that your fruit remains.
Remains.
See? Now, go back to Deuteronomy 29 and 15. Start reading it.
It says, rather, I am making it both with you who are standing here with us today before Adonai our God, and also with him who is not here with us today. For you know how we lived in the land of Egypt, and how we came directly through the nation you passed through. And you saw their detestable things in their idols of wood, stone, silver, and gold that they had with them. So let there not be among you a man, woman, family, or tribe whose heart turns away today from Adonai our God to go and serve the gods of those nations.
Now notice this. He was warning them of the temptation. He was warning them, just like we said here, we try to warn our children. I've said it many times and try to warn all our young folks. Some of them got themselves caught in the stuff and everything there. I said, you get out there, mess with the world out there, and you get over some stuff out there that won't turn you loose. I know what I was talking about. I done seen it happen. So I said, so be careful what you go out there and get messing around with. Be careful who you go out there and get yourself attached to. Some of that stuff out there won't turn you loose. You say, well, I'm tired of this. I put in the time I want to. No, you can't.
Sometimes you can't win that.
You may want to turn it loose, because it won't turn you
That's
loose.
right, you might want to turn it, but this ain't gonna turn you loose. You said, what you mean by that? Well, you want to have some bad, what do they call it, feming, or what is that the right word? Is feming the right word, or withdrawal? Or what? But
Female when they really need it.
oh, okay, right, well, right, that's the same thing then.
And withdrawals is if they, they having it because, they having that because they can't get it.
Well, all that stuff works, and when you have a withdrawal, it's tough, boy. Hey, it work on you. It lets you know that, hey, you thought you could get rid of me, didn't you? You know, you like the smoking and stuff, cigarettes and stuff. I can quit anytime I want to.
I had it bad, man.
You had it bad, huh?
I had it so bad I was going into the ashtrays and getting it out like that. Getting target tobacco, even going on the sidewalk and getting it. I had to get it any way I can.
Looking for butts in it, right?
Any way I can get it.
My youngest brother, growing up, he called him a sweet addict because, hey, if he didn't have the sweets, he'd get trembling.
Yeah.
His mother had to, say, get out, baby, that candy. So he get that candy, he stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. No, he'll hardly eat candy now.
Yeah, people get the alcohol and stuff.
Alcohol does the same way.
Yeah. And I was talking about the drugs and stuff, hey,
It could be a woman or a man.
Yeah, it don't matter. Yeah. It's an equal opportunity. Yeah. And color don't matter either. Right. Yeah. And so I'm trying to, and so that's what Moshe was warning them and everything now. Don't get yourself involved in those things. Don't go out there and be bull that ain't gonna happen to me. God don't want us for no reason at all. He wants us because it can happen to you. And you that think it can't happen to you and everything, you are setting duck for it to happen to you.
You like the one how I can quit anytime.
Yeah, right.
You know good well you can't quit.
They say them are the one that really hooked in.
Yeah.
You want to find out somebody that really hooked on something like that, it's what them the house, but I can quit anytime I want to. Yeah. I ain't got to have that there. I just do that because it's one. Now they say that those are the ones that really hook.
Yeah.
And therefore, you want to go through some tough stuff. You want to go through some hard stuff to get past that. Therefore, God's trying to warn us ahead of time. A good parent will try to warn their children out ahead of time. Yeah?
It's true.
Don't go down there. And then some of us, as children, we get stupid and crazy. But y'all did, y'all so. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Don't do it.
Y'all made y'all mistakes. So
yeah.
Let me make mine.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't make the same mistake I made.
Well, you made a word mistake and I made.
Right. Yeah, folks. Whether you believe it or not, God's word is true. Whether you believe it or not, these things are facts. Okay? Tell them those things there. I even try to tell our young men and stuff. Things have changed now than what it used to be. When we came all up and everything here, guys would brag about it. I got a baby over here. I got a baby over here. And I got a baby over there. And they would brag about it. He came to me and made me look bad, had me feeling bad. I didn't have no babies all around. What you got? Nothing. Oh boy, they made me feel bad about it. Let me tell you something, dear folks. Child support, brother, you're right. That's right. Child support, change that. Child support, change that. Ain't no man. I ain't get that. Oh no. Oh no. When they start coming in and grabbing and slapping that $50,000 to $60,000 on them. Yeah.
They got advantage these days. They can go get one of those DNA to find out that's yours. But back when I had, if she said it was yours, nothing else.
Yeah, right.
That's why you used to say, mama, baby, daddy's name.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. But what I'm saying, the guys were bragging about it too. There were some guys bragging about having kids that didn't have none.
Yeah. Like it's a big thing.
There's all kind of baby mamas and baby daddies nowadays too. So it's pretty much the same nowadays. All kind of baby mama and baby daddy stuff.
But it will change your life now. You get a baby in the third night, and your plans and your thing, it's gonna change.
Everything changed.
You know, I didn't think child support, you have to pay child support unless the woman goes to try to get state, some subsidy from the state, welfare, something like that. That's the only way that the government will get you for child support.
Right.
You know, if she work, you know, and going to try to get no assistance, then they will buy you for child support.
Right.
Nowadays, that's like you sign your name on there, but it does not make you sign your name. That's your kid.
Yeah, all right, right. You sign the birth certificate, there it is. And
You sign that birth certificate.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, remember we seen that on one of those court shows.
Yeah.
At 18 or so, that he found out that it wasn't really his child, and they weren't 18. You remember?
Yeah.
But the judge said, "Hey, you've been seeing about him this long. Keep on seeing about him."
That's right.
You find it? Yeah, that's too late now.
Be like Brother Bob said that guy. He said, "But Judge, you don't even look like me today." He said, "You keep feeding him, start looking like it." But things change and all that. But God knows what's best. We don't want to know what's best. And that's why we try to warn people. God was warning Israel then. When you get into the land, don't do this and that because you'll have some trouble. Don't turn away from me. Keep my Torah. Keep my covenant. Don't make no deals with them. Don't do this. Because if you do, it's going to be some stuff that you can't cut loose. Israel right today is having trouble over there. Thousands of years later, we're still having trouble over there because we didn't do what God said told us to do. That's why I understand those things. Yeah, we've got to get those things. Read on.
It says, "Let there not be among you a root bearing such bitter poison and wormwood. If there is such a person, when he hears the word of this curse, he will bless himself secretly, saying to himself, I will be all right, even though I will stubbornly keep doing whatever I feel like doing."
See that? Now, we want to say it. If that's what they said way back 1,000 years before Moshe was doing, our kids and our people are doing the same thing right today. I mean the exact same words. Ain't gonna get mad and upset with you. Mom and Dad should be like that. They should be like that. They should be doing this and I mean really serious about it too. Want to argue with you about it. Same attitude. Yeah, that's what it said. That's what it said there. If they don't read their Bible and see that, hey, That's where I am. See? But they don't, because they think it's gonna be all right with them.
They're gonna continue to support they have because they done got themselves in this situation.
That's it. I told them, hey, I don't mind trying to help you, but I ain't support you. I ain't supporting your habits. You're hungry, you're sort of, hey, I'll try to help you, but no. I can't afford to support your habits. You wanna go out there and spend all your money out on that cabbage and that other stuff, huh? Yeah, that might be too, I might be out of date on the call it cabbage now. At one time, they call it cabbage and stuff like that there with it. But y'all know what I'm talking about.
Some of the Mary Jane?
Yeah, Mary Jane, yeah. Yeah, all this stuff ain't cheap.
Ain't cheap, man. Ain't cheap. You spend $100 in no time. It's on two or 3 grand.
And how long did that high last?
I don't know. I don't know.
Depends on how bad they hooked on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Some of them go up a tolerance to them anyway. You get smoking up so much, then they got to go get some more into another level of tolerance.
It's because they have panic attacks, it's because they can sleep. I'm just asking because I don't know, and I asked somebody that you said, and I did that with my, I was just asking the person, and the answer I got didn't make no sense then, I'm let it go.
Sure. Guy at work told me his son smoke. He said they'll light one up, smoke it, light another one up, smoke it.
Man, it's just like I work with a guy on my job out there smoking cigarettes. He would have 2 cigarettes going at one time. He smoked that about halfway down, and he light another one and have it lit there. And he was going through about 2 packs of cigarettes a day. A day. You got one over there, simmering over there, then got another over here. That means he fixed another. I know that's all right. And then another one.
Chain smoking.
Yeah, that's what they call it, chain smoking. Man, you got it bad then when you. Oh, well, that's right. And it wasn't near as expensive, even at tobacco and all that stuff. Because I remember, hey, you could buy a pack of cigarettes,
$2.50.
For I think, what is it? 30 cents?
I remember when they were 25.
Yeah. I remember, right, 30 cents.
Then it went up to $1.50. Now it went
You can't even buy
$10 a pack.
You can't even buy one cigarette for 30 cents.
$5.
Huh?
Not one, no.
I thought you said $5 for one.
No. I think it was a pack is about what, $7, $8 now? Yeah. So it's 52. I think it's 20 in the pack.
I could, they was $4. Depend on the brand.
Buy 7 to 6 for $3.
Wow. Like I said, you can get a pack of cigarettes for 30 cents. And now, like I said, you can't get one cigarette.
I remember they was 30 cents, 25 cents, and then my brother and my father would let us have the truck. That's the first thing we do, head to that store and get us a pack of cigarettes.
Yep. But I'm glad I had my ordeal with the cigarettes. I done told you all about that, and I'm so glad that I didn't push past that. See, so glad. Hey, it ain't that, and I don't try to tell our children that I didn't try different stuff and all that stuff. I tried some stuff and all that, but I'm glad I didn't go over those things. My body let me know that this ain't good for you. And I'm glad I didn't go past it. I took heed to it. See? And because like I said, I try to tell them, get on some stuff there, it won't turn you loose.
Right.
I know some people that never could get rid of them cigarettes. Died with them cigarettes. People right today got all kind of sickness and they tell them get off them cigarettes and they still got it.
Yeah.
Now if your life online and you can't quit, something wrong somewhere. And that's why I keep telling you, it won't turn you loose. Because shouldn't you have benefits to know that this can't be good for you? And they tell you about it right now. You don't need to be smoking anything because COVID works with your lungs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. If you enjoy breathing.
Right. But you know, God told a long back, that's why God gave him forewarning. If you get yourself in a line like that, these are the things will happen to you. And mankind have not learned a lesson yet. 1,000 years later, and we're still doing the same old stuff. It's because we're slow. We're slow to get this stuff over with. And that goes back to what I was telling you about how we're made. And that's what I was kind of telling you about. God made us this way. Right. And therefore, he tried to tell you, don't get involved in messing with that kind of stuff there, because just as you slow about that, you slow about getting rid of it. And some never do. We don't.
So that I, although dry, sinful, would be added to the water, righteous. But Adonai would not forgive him. Rather, the anger and jealousy of Adonai would blaze up against that person.
Did you hear this? God said a long time ago, it said God will not forgive you. People got the attitude that God got to forgive me. No, he don't. I'm his child and he's got to forgive me. No, he don't.
You don't have to do anything he don't want to do.
We got to, you know, I listen to some of them television and some of the ministers be talking and preaching all that stuff there and telling folks all that stuff there. And I said, boy, they just lying. They need to know truth. You got a special connection with God, and God got it, and God ain't gonna do that. What are you talking about? It's all warnings all the way in there. If you want to stay in my favor, my little children, my people, if you want to stay in my favor, you got to stay obedient to my covenant, keep my laws, not do what you want to do. Leave them Canaanite women alone. Leave them Canaanite men alone. Because they will change your mind. You've been raised up not having Christmas and doing all that stuff and Christmas tree and all that stuff. Give it them Canaanite men, they'll come around, and guess what? Your house is full come Christmas Day.
Easter too.
Yeah. Halloween and all that. Where all this stuff coming from? That's right. God tried to warn us ahead of time. I don't know, I'm too tough. I'm too good. It don't happen to me. You hate. If we don't pay attention to God's plea and those things, mankind have not done it, and we're still even in the days and everything here, and we're still in the same shoes. We're still in the same spot. And time, all the difference is time is running out on us now. God ain't gonna tolerate that forever. He ain't gonna forever, we ain't gonna forever have the time to continue on doing that stuff there. Just like I was reading there on 2 or 3 different, bunch of occasions there, and it was talking about how a lot of these ministers down in Louisiana and down in them places down there getting on their telling folks, oh, ain't nothing, that COVID ain't nothing to it now, there's a bunch of lies and all of that. Guess what? They ain't saying that no more now. You know why they ain't saying it?
A lot of them are dying.
Because there's a lot of them dying. A lot of them are dying. A lot of the ministers and stuff, I'm like, hey, no, that ain't gonna happen to me. Because, hey, I got God's special powers, and I'm a son of God, and I'm a son of Jesus, and Jesus is my protection, and Jesus is this and all like that, and boom, they dead. See? I'm not against having the right attitude about those things, and that's what God was saying to tell us here. And he's warning them. But these folks ain't what they think they is. And then they want to fool around and play with your life and play with those. You had one guy that he was mad, man, because I think it was his uncle or somebody that was one of the teaching all that stuff there and all that. And then he flew around and got cold with that man. And he said, he like to carry him, and he said, boy, he got over there and he said, what you go? He said, man, I'm going to get some shots, and my family going to get it too, and all that stuff there. He said, because, hey, this thing ain't nothing to play with. And he said, man, I was bullied. What I'm saying is that don't do what they've done here. Don't have that same attitude. Get the right attitude about it, and God will work for us. See? I'm not, but these folks here, brother, not only were these folks don't want to be vaccinated, but they don't even want no mask. They don't want to do no kind of protection.
None.
And that's what he was mad about.
You get angry too if you don't wear them masks.
Yeah. You talking about being stupid. That show is stupid. At least I say, if you don't want to be vaccinated, at least wear a mask. Do something to try to. Oh no, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. Well, I tell you one thing you do, don't come around me.
And they want to go to the hospital after they don't got it.
Yeah, that's what the guy said. Why are you going to the hospital then? See? And that's what God was warning Israel. God said, and that's what Moshe was warning. He said, if you go mess up and do all this, why then you're going to run around and holler about you, child of God, and you want to run to God. And God says, I don't have to forget that part of that. About that, where he said about forgetting.
Every curse written in this book will be upon you.
Every curse. Once we get into a point where God doesn't allow to put a curse on you, then we're ready to run to God then. Mm-hmm. Once we done got all in and done use your body all up and all, then you're ready to cripple God. Lord, I'm ready to get thee. I'm going to save you. I'm going to work with you. You can't.
I want you to right now use me in a special way.
Yeah, right. Who wants somebody that all cripple, all can't do that and all that? And God wants you, hey, while you got some energy, while you young and those things out. Now you got old and then all that ain't no good about these. Lord, I'm ready to come to serve you now. How you gonna say? What you gonna do for him?
All broken up.
Yeah. Well, Lord, you gotta forgive me, you gotta save me, you gotta heal me. No, I don't. That's what it needs. No, that's what he said.
Adonai will blot out his name from under heaven, Adonai will single them out from all the tribes of Israel to experience what is bad in all the curses of the covenant written in this book of the Torah. And the next generation, your children, who will grow up after you, and the foreigner who will rise from a distant land, see the plagues of that land and the diseases with which Adonai has made it sick, and that the whole land has become burning sulfur and salt, that it is being sown or bearing crops, or even producing grain, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah.
That's good. I put it, so the part of it is, go back up to, I think, around the 17th or something there, where it says about he won't forgive.
So if there is such a person, when he hears the word of this curse, he will bless himself secretly, saying to himself.
That's it. That see, it messes his own self up. See?
Saying to himself, I will be all right.
I will be all right. I will be all right. Yeah. Don't worry about me. Hey, I'm okay. And I was exactly what they say. I talked to a lot of folks that I'm all right. Don't worry about me. Hey, I got a special relationship with God. I got this. We don't listen. Quit verse 19. Okay, all right.
Even though I will steadily keep doing whatever I feel like doing, so that I, although dry and sinful, would be added to the water righteous. But Adonai will not forgive me.
There you go. That's the one I want right there. You wickedly go out there and wickedly doing those things and all of that, and then think God won't forgive you. No. You done lied to yourself and done crossed up all God's words and all this thing and holler about, I'm gonna be all right. I'm all right. Y'all just bringing the evil on me. Y'all bringing bad. You know, there's someone think that we bring the curse on them. We bring it on. Why y'all want to talk to me and jinx me and all that? I ain't jinxing you. I'm trying to tell you the truth. That's what he said here. He said, those things happen and all those things there, and you don't sit there and fool yourself and deceive yourself, thinking that you're going to be all right doing whatever you want to do.
So those people that said, all their life, their hope, when I hear it show that, hey, y'all don't forgive you, hey, that's it.
That's it.
You don't have to forgive you. Don't have to. You know, you can have life, they'll walk around, but you don't have his curse.
He don't have to forgive you. People say, yeah, because he got his son and all, he have to forgive you. No, he don't. You know why? Because his son is not going to go against him. His son had already told us that. He's not going to go against the father. He'll plead your case, but he's not going to go against it. Because, you know why? Because he done told you. I come not to do my will. I come not to do my desire, but the will of him that sent me. Therefore, dear folks, he's already told you, why call it thou me good? There's only one good, and that's the Father. Let's get these things straight. Let's get these things in line. That it might be well with us. Moshe will plead with him, even on his dying day, on his last day. Before God told me, get on up to the mountain there, and you're going to die out there. He was still pleading with Israel. He was still showing his love. So we have to show our love, and our love, and sometimes it's tough love. You know, we have to tell them the truth. Not tell them what they want to hear, but tell them the truth. See? And be truthful with them. And if they want to choose the wrong choice and all of a sudden, we won't be counted. It won't be against you. Be a good parent. See? And that it might be well with us and that those things might work out for us so we will apart. This is our paddle shot for today. May God bless you and keep you on that end there. And may He watches over us. And during this time of Teshuvah, I want to say this. Turn while you can. See? See? Yah is restoring stuff. And he's willing to restore those things and fulfill His promise. But will we be a part of the good part of restoring, or will we be a bad part of it? See? Turn to God while you can. Because the days will run out when you won't be able to turn. See? People got that all mixed up. Hey, I remember the thief on the cross. And all that. See how they get all that stuff all mixed all up? Get all mixed all up?
One situation, one thing,
Yeah.
everything is the same thing.
And then they got it right. No. That guy was wicked. Okay? And he showed it was wicked. He said, we deserve what we get. He didn't sugarcoat like the other guy said, I'm gonna be all right, and keep on doing. He realized that he was out of line. And he was able to change. But you can't change that with the wrong attitude. And God said, I ain't gonna forgive you. And if you think that ain't bad, and you think that God won't do that there, you need to read Jeremiah. We ain't going there now, but it's there. God said, don't even pray for these people.
Don't pray for them. Right.
They were still alive, dear folks. They wasn't dead. He wasn't talking about some people that was dead. He was talking about a whole nation that was alive. He said, don't even pray for them. He said, I already got my mind made up. And I will not give you. That's what he told the prophet. Then, I'm here to tell you, dear folks, God has already made his mind made up about mankind. And when I said I'm talking about a whole, and anything that you will see here, there are some good things that man is doing and all of that, but the overall thing is man is still messing up. Yeah.
I know you get ready to close, but just briefly, can you elaborate just a little bit? Because some people got this idea now, since we're in the kingdom of grace, that we are saved because of that's the Old Testament period, and now that God sees the Son in the blood, then He will forgive, and we just ask Him to forgive us of our sin, and that's it. So it means that we have to. How do we qualify those situations? Because these people here, God said He ain't gonna hear them because they continue to do their thing, and they can say, "Well, I'm gonna call on the name of Jesus and let the Lord save me from the situation." How do we deal with that issue?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So you really need to go back over that Deuteronomy 29:19.
19, okay.
And get that, understand what he said then and he said today now. He said that if you come up with an idea, you come up with something that you think is going to say, I'm all right. I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. God is not going to forgive you. The Son is not going to forgive you. There is no way to get forgiveness for that. You got to have the attitude of willing to teshuvah. It's just like a habit. You just said that y'all had a habit of smoking, y'all did right. Yeah. How did you quit?
I called and I asked the Lord to help me because I couldn't do it myself. He helped me do it.
Yeah. You had to come to
I
conclusion.
had to conclude I needed help real bad.
There you go.
That's right.
And you was tired of that smoke ruling you.
Right. I cried. You get that.
The main thing with people, they don't realize that they got a problem. Once you admit you got a problem with this situation, then you can do something about it. But you got to have God.
He said, only acknowledge. But these who we talking about here, didn't acknowledge it. They just thought that, hey, it's just going to bypass it and God going to do them all right because I'm a child of God. I'm a this and that now. And I just, no. This is why this one of repentance is all important. This time with the shoe was all, you got to realize that, yeah, you done wrong and you turning from that. Lord, I don't want that no more. I don't want to be that way no more. See? Then will God step in and help us to do those things. But no, it's not going to do those things there. And that's why I say people get the wrong attitude and get the wrong idea about what God has provided for us.
Correct.
You got to realize that and sincerely, with all your heart, want to change. All that is part of you changing it. Why do you want to go around? Why do you? I don't quit that to get you run around your buttons and they sitting all glass eyed, all up. You know good well you ain't gonna turn down that joint. You're lying to yourself. Well, I'm sorry, I can't keep up with the modern day stuff. They change so fast.
Still call it church.
What the chuckle mean, hollering man? What you see running around there? If you don't whine over and everything and all that stuff there, you run around there, they're gonna put it on you.
That's right.
They're gonna put it on you. Hey man, take this here. Oh, you don't want to drink with me and all. Oh, they're gonna. That's the difference in it, and that's what I'm kind of most people are pleading with them. Don't get caught into that, because if you do, it's hard to get out of it. Okay? God puts, like I said, I think God has put something inherent in us to let us know, and that's what I say about the smoking. God gave it an inherent thing, and I was glad that it worked with me, and I listened to it. A lot of folks are going to say, yeah, that happened, that happened to me when I was born, but I go on over it anyway. He did it, he did it. But I didn't. That was the difference. Getting all drunk and everything like that there, and acting a fool and clowning and all that stuff there. The body reacted the way I didn't like that. And I shut it down. I said, no, I don't like that. I told y'all about that. Well, other folks, they gonna go on and do it anyway. But I didn't get drunk and all that stuff, and get into a fight and all that kind of stuff, get all kind of stuff, do all kind of crazy stuff. That ain't enough embarrassing to quit. No. Next thing you know, they out there doing it again. That fool themselves. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna go that far down. Yes, you will. Because that takes over possession of you. See? You see how them butterfly, they get one of they want to do it, then they get to drinking. That Thunderbird, they stuck there by that face, get to shine, and face actually shine, man. Huh? Yeah.
They get wet.
Then they get brave, man.
They get like King Kong, don't they?
Yeah.
They talk about being superintendent, I got designated as a driver. So I was glad that, because that made me double not to do it, cause I had to be the driver, see? So they couldn't have them getting all that way, they driving too, man, hey. So, y'all's good to us, and, so, that was it, that's close as I can give it right now. So, but, let us turn to y'all's way and prefer his way. That might be well with us.
Amen.
On that end there.
Amen. There you go.
Change from our rebellious ways and return to y'all's way. That it might be well with us. This closes out our service for today, our paddle shop for today. And as our old feels, how should we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget you, let my right hand, but I remember thee. Let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem, above my chief joy. Psalm 137, verses 5 and 6. Shalom, shalom for now. And now turn your hands over to Shemash for the service for today.